one because I would have loved to have that as a poster. And then on the other page they have a special limited edition poster which misses a point. Man is more dangerous than any animal. Okay, random that was there, but this is a poster that I had never seen before, so I'm happy that I have this now. And it says Shark Facts provided as a public service by the producers of Jaws. And then there's 14 facts there. On the next page we have Piranha. I love all the Piranha movies so much. Like I said, I love creature features, so anything that's like a kill or something, I like it. I feel like the girl here looks so much like Katie Holmes for some reason. I don't know why, she just, like, I swear I thought that was Katie Holmes. Let's see if I can just show you closely. Looks so much like her. And then we have Razorback, which is about a killer boar. I'm sure this is an Australian movie. Yes, it is an Australian movie, so a killer boar. And then we have Open Water. Open Water is a really good film, but I wouldn't call it a horror film. It's more like a realistic version of Jaws, whereas Jaws plays on the horror genre of sharks. This is just like what would happen if you were really lost at sea. Obviously there's going to be sharks, you're in the middle of the ocean. But for me, what is scary about this movie is just like the fact that you're completely and utterly alone, and there's like how you would feel if that happened to you. Like, it's very suspenseful. So Open Water was basically about a couple that got lost at sea, and then it's just how they deal with that. On the next page we have vampires. So we've got classic Nosferatu and Dracula. So there's the original Dracula, and then there's the one made a while after that called Dracula Prince of Darkness. I've seen Prince of Darkness. I haven't seen this one. This one was made in 1931. Yeah, I haven't seen that. And Nosferatu. I have not seen Nosferatu only because it's just such an old movie. Like, I know about it, and I haven't seen it. And then we have Dracula Has Risen from the Grave, so another play on Dracula. We've got Blackula, which is a black Dracula. Then we've got another version of Nosferatu, and then probably the most popular Dracula that was made in 1992. Love never dies. Vampires are my favorite things ever in the whole world. I'm obsessed with vampires. I have been ever since I was really young. Like, most girls wanted to be like a mermaid. Well, I still want to be a mermaid, but I always wanted to be a vampire. I love them so much. If I ever get a tattoo, I want my first tattoo to be of the word vampire. Just have it on my body because they just represent amazing things, and I love them so much, and they're really sexy. So yeah, vampires cool. Vampires rule. Then we have on the next page we have The Hunger. Nothing human loves forever. With her mane upside down, Miriam, the 6,000-year-old Egyptian vampire, welcomes her lovers, David Bowie and Susan Sarandon, into her glowing bosom behind the red cape. Her anchor dagger drips blood in director Tony Scott's film debut. Then we have Life Force. Enter the artist. Either the artist had no idea how to paint a nude woman or intended them to look ghastly on a poster that doesn't depict any scene in the film. Based on the novel The Space Vampires, Tobe Hooper's bonkers vampire apocalypse bombed at the box office. Then we have the classic Fright Night. There are some very good reasons to be afraid of the dark. If you love being scared, it'll be the night of your life. Terrifying clouds by moonlight above an old house with a dark figure in window. The earnest taglines convey none of the conundrum experienced by a horror movie buff who gears from the behavior of his odd neighbor that he must be a vampire. So Fright Night is about a kid who thinks that his next door neighbor's a vampire. It's really good. There's I think 3 versions of this movie. Then we have one of the most iconic vampire movies ever made, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love it so much. I just love it. I'm so happy that they provided the big poster for The Lost Boys. Cannot wait to hang this up. Sleep all day, party all night, never grow old, never die. It's fun to be a vampire. I love it so much. On the next page we have From Dusk Till Dawn, another great classic vampire movie with George Clooney and Salma Hayek, I think that's how you say her name. She was the sexy vampiress who did the stripper routine, which was super good. One night is all that stands between them and freedom, but it's going to be one hell of a night. So this movie, if you haven't seen it, is about two criminals who kidnap a family and then they find refuge in an old bar tavern, but the bar tavern is full of vampires and then they have to survive the night. On the next page we have Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. That is a really popular movie, also one of my favourites. Werewolves, vampires, hybrids, all of that, really good. And then the classic Twilight. I wouldn't really call Twilight a classic, but you know what I mean, like it's Twilight. We all know about it. I don't know why it's in a horror movie poster book, because the only thing scary about Twilight is the fact that they don't have fangs and they're vampires. Like, okay mate, relax. Anyway, yeah. Then we have Let the Right One In. We have the Swedish version and the US version. The Swedish version is a lot better than the US version, but the US version is also really good, and if you don't like watching movies in a different language, you can always stick to this one. And it's basically about a young vampire, well, not young, a vampire who's a young girl, but she's really super, super old. So it kind of brings into question, like, your mind is aging, but your body's not. So how do you kind of live your life? And the page we have The Descent, which is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen, in my opinion. It really, really spooked me because of how the creatures were designed. And it's about a group of friends who go cave exploring, but one of the girls takes them in a cave that's not actually mapped because she's trying to be like all fun and cool and edgy, but of course they get stuck in a cave that has monsters in it and they have to try to escape. On the next page we have The Wolfman, The Howling, An American Werewolf in London, and The Wolfman. So it's probably that this is the original Wolfman made in 1941. And then you have a remake that was made in 1981, and then An American Werewolf in London, which was a more realistic version of what a werewolf would be like. And then one of the most recent with made in 2010 with Emily Blunt, The Legend is Alive. I have seen these three, but not The Howling, so I will check this one out. I probably most recommend An American Werewolf in London. That's a really great movie. On the other page we have something that I've never seen before, called The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, made in 1920. As though passed out in a dream, a man runs across the bridge to rescue a woman from the ghoul, a universally acclaimed masterpiece regarded as the first horror feature film. Dr. Caligari's cabinet contains his hypnotically controlled somnambulist Cesar, who knows your future and your secrets. Okay then, definitely have to check that out if it's one of the first acclaimed horror movies. Yeah, it's got a nice design. Cool. On the next page we have one of my favourite movies of all time, Wes Craven's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is my favourite horror character of all time. I'm obsessed with him. I love him so much. I love him. If Nancy doesn't wake up screaming, she won't wake up at all. So, if for those of you who have not seen A Nightmare on Elm Street, which I really highly doubt it is about a demon called Freddy Krueger who can kill you in your dreams. scares me to this day when I watch it. I do not like to watch Silent Hill, it's too freaky for me, but a really great storyline. And then we have The Fly. I'm sure everyone's heard of this. Once it was human, even as you and I. A woman screams through a fly screen, or perhaps she is viewed in Fly's eyes vision, with a different, equally disturbing ending to the 1986 remake. Both films are based on a short story by George Langlin that appeared in the June 1957 issue of Playboy magazine. I didn't know that it was from that. So The Fly is just about a guy that's half human, half fly, and he will kill you, and yeah. Be afraid. Be very afraid. On the next page we have Patrick. Some people thought he was crazy. He appeared to be deaf, dumb and blind. None of them knew of the sixth sense, the power of Patrick's mind. I have not seen this. Murderer Patrick emits a strange presence, silent and unblinking from a coma in his hospital bed. Underappreciated at home, this Australian shockler enjoyed international successes, and fanboy Quentin Tarantino borrowed a scene for The Bride in his Kill Bill volumes. Definitely want to watch this. Then we have Scanners. I haven't seen this. Donnie Darko. I have seen Donnie Darko. I recommend it. It's super weird but interesting. And classic Carrie. Again, there's Chloe Grace Moretz. She's always in remakes of things. Carrie is the classic girl that gets bullied and then she has psychic powers and she snaps and kills everyone with her psychic mind powers. You will know her name. Finally, we have Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. I'm surprised it's taken so long to see Psycho, seeing as it's the most famous horror movie ever. Maybe not ever, maybe I think The Shining is, but it's like a close second. Then we have Misery by Stephen King. Misery is about a woman who holds her favorite author hostage. Really. And then we have Sweeney Todd, that stars Johnny Depp and what's her name? I keep wanting to say Bellatrix Lestrange because I can't remember her name. She's an actress. And I honestly can't for the life of me remember what her name is. I just know her as Bellatrix Lestrange. I have to be a bit quicker now because my camera's going to die. Next we have Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Sister, sister, oh so fair, why is there blood all over your hair? I haven't seen that, so I'm not sure what it's about. Then we have Peeping Tom and Repulsion. Next up we have Scream. Someone has taken their love of scary movies one step too far. Solving this mystery is going to be murder. I'm sure we all know about the classic Scream with Ghostface. And then we have The Cabin in the Woods. You think you know the story. Cabin in the Woods is such a great movie. If you have not seen it, please give it a watch. It's a comedy horror with a lot of gore, but it's so good. Please watch it. And then we have Friday the 13th, my second favorite after Nightmare on Elm Street. They were warned, they are doomed, and on Friday the 13th, nothing will save them. So Friday the 13th is about Jason Voorhees. So a bunch of kids go camping and Jason is a killer and kills them, and classic camp horror film. Probably started the camp horror film genre. And then we have Halloween, which stars Michael Myers Next we have The Last House on the Left. This movie is really disturbing and it has a rape scene, so if you don't like watching stuff like that, definitely don't watch this movie. It does also have a remake, and the rape scene is really like, oh my god, I remember watching that and wanting to throw up. It's basically about a girl who gets abducted and raped, and she finds her way back home, and her parents are actually allowing the people who did that to her to sleep in their guest house because they are in the middle of nowhere, and they went to the parents' house saying, oh, can we stay here for the night, blah blah, because it was raining and their car crashed, but they thought that they had killed the girl and left her there to die, but she didn't die, and she finds her way back home, and then it's about the parents, taking revenge. It's a really good movie, but it's got a big shock factor in it. It's really disturbing. Then we have the classic Texas Chainsaw Massacre and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. This is the funniest poster I've ever seen for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's like a really dumb family photo. A psycho caterer goes about obtaining his grisly ingredients. I've seen that. It's a cannibal movie. It's very gory. If you do not like gore, actually all these films on this page are really gory, so if you do not like gore, do not watch these. The Gore Girls, a flat black, white and red hair-raising, blood-curdling scream, the unrelenting, crude, violent and misogynistic swan song of an era for godfather of gore. That movie is really disgusting. Then we have Snuff, also really disturbing. I don't know why, but I've seen a lot of disturbing movies. I don't know why, I just like watching things that really shock me, and these movies really do. Then we have I Spit on Your Grave, which is about a woman who gets raped and tortured and abused and then takes her revenge on the killers in the most goriest ways possible. Then we have Australia's most famous horror movie ever, probably, which is Wolf Creek. How can you be found when no one knows you're missing? So Wolf Creek is based on a true story about a bunch of hikers who kept going missing along one of the highways, and one survived. One British tourist survived and said that they were kidnapped and murdered by some guy, but everything he said, no evidence was ever found of that, and he was actually a suspect because two of the girls he was with were missing, and he said that they were kidnapped and murdered by this guy, but they never found evidence of that, so he actually became a suspect. But next we have another Edgar Allan Poe themed poster, The Pit and the Pendulum. I have read the poem for this. Descend into the medieval torture chamber of a Spanish castle where Nicholas Medina holds a secret to his wife's mysterious death, which her brother has come to investigate. Then we have Saw and Hostel. Two more super gory movies. If you're into gore porn, then these are probably the go-tos. Saw is about people who have to torture themselves to get out of like specific rooms or games set up to them by Jigsaw, the puzzle master. And then you have Hostel, which is about rich people paying money to kill and torture normal people. Next we have The Evil Dead, the most ferociously original horror film of the year. Stephen King said that. Whatever Stephen King recommends is always really good because he's like the greatest horror guy ever. Then we have Evil Dead 2, White Zombie, Army of Darkness. I've seen Zombie, The Evil Dead, and The Evil Dead 2. I have not seen White Zombie or Man of Darkness. Army of Darkness. They won't stay dead. Night of the Living Dead. They keep coming which is the like parody of Night of the Living Dead. Two best friends and his like ex-girlfriend are trying to survive zombies, and they like hide in a pub, and it's super funny. Then we have The Brain That Wouldn't Die, Brain Dead, and two of my favourite movies ever, Zombieland and Warm Bodies. I recently just watched the sequel for Zombieland, and it did not live up to the first. I was so disappointed, but Zombieland 1 is the best ever. I'm obsessed with it. Yeah, so good. Basically about, if you haven't seen it, it's about a bunch of four people surviving the zombie apocalypse, and yeah, it's super funny. Then you got Warm Bodies, which is one of my favourite movies ever. The love I have for this movie and the book, amazing. It's basically a zombie falling in love with a girl, and I already like am blushing thinking about how much I love the main character R, that's his name. He does a lot of voiceover in the film because he can't speak because he's a zombie, and it's really good. I really recommend this. It's really funny, cheesy, cute romance movie. Really like it. And then we have the poster for 28 Days Later, which is a really famous zombie movie about a guy that wakes up after a coma it's about a guy that wakes up after being in a coma to, you know, Zombieland. To the apocalypse. On the next 2 pages we have all different Frankenstein movies. Another classic horror character. We've got Frankenstein made in 1931, The Bride of Frankenstein made in 1935. Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It's a grand new idea for fun. The Revenge of Frankenstein. I Was a Teenage Frankenstein.